Hello everyone, welcome to BT Talks. Today I have a very special guest, Kirsten Jordan, who is a luxury real estate advisor with Douglas Elliman in New York. She is also a star of Million Dollar Listing New York, and she's just a phenomenal person. So let me just have her join. Bear with me 1 second. I do know she had another live right before me. Lisa, thanks for joining. Sam, always joining. Here's Kirsten. Let's see. Really appreciate everyone from all over the world that's joining my VT Talks. So hold on 1 second. Kirsten will be joining in a few seconds. Hold on. We have Ro from San Francisco, Hugo from Marbella, Lisa from Boca. Thank you, Lisa. All right. Joining the lives are not always easy. Hold on 1 second. I'm doing great, Ro. What about yourself? When are you coming? Oh, there we go.
I made it. I don't know what it takes. Sometimes I click the join request and then it just
I know it's
no.
okay. It's part of it. But Kirsten, thank you so much for taking some time out of your super crazy schedule. It's always very difficult to juggle between being, a top luxury broker, team leader, star of Million Dollar Listing, and a mom.
Just yeah, just juggling just a few things, just
It
trying to
is.
trying to keep it all together, those balls in the air.
Exactly. But you have so much good energy. So thanks again for
Thank you.
joining. So most of the audience, knows who you are. But for those who don't know who you are, please tell us your journey to real estate. Who is Kirsten? How did you get into real estate and to New York City?
Well, I got into the business when I was 25. I had just returned from living in Europe. I was living in Italy. I was working as a barista. I was teaching English. I was selling licenses for designs for greeting cards and wrapping paper. It was not that glamorous, but I was traveling around Europe. I was learning
It's a great
Italian.
experience to have.
It was a great experience. It taught me a lot. I did get, a perspective on the world of the world of what it's like to be a foreigner living in Europe, especially in a country like Italy, where there is a tremendous amount of there's still like a major social caste system. It's really like you got to break in. Milan is a very interesting place to try to break into. I made some really good friends, really good relationships, and then it was just all of a sudden time to come home. So I came home and I got my real estate license because I had fallen in love with being in sales, and then I decided it was time to see what I could do. So I got started at Douglas Elliman when I was turning 25.
That's great. And no, I think that's what's really interesting about the business is that everybody has their own journey, wherever
Hmm.
you are in the world. And the beauty of real estate is that obviously it's a hard business, but if you're consistent and you meet the right people and the right mentors and you just believe in yourself and you do the right things, you can be super happy and super successful. So what was your first deals when you got into real estate? How did you get your first deals? Is
Well,
that a,
my first deal was somebody who I actually knew that was a friend that I had, I made a friend, and we just, he was looking for a condo, and so I hit the ground running, trying to find the right kind of condo for him. It was before Street Easy, so we were using good old fashioned, our ML, whatever the MLS listing system was at the time. With I think at Douglas Elliman it was called Limo, and got really lucky. I at the time had joined a small team that was here at Douglas Elliman, and so I sold my first condo that was asking $650,000, and he ended up buying it for $822,000 because it was a huge bidding war. And and it was really, really exciting for me. And I think that all brokers in this business that do well always have a little bit of beginner's luck. I know every broker that I
I
know
love
that's
that.
really,
That
really
beginner's luck, I love
successful,
it.
it's like you have one deal that happens and it's that high that you're never going to get again, but you get to do that first deal. And that is it's
Well,
and then
that's
you're searching for it for the rest of your career.
it is. It's the beauty of this business and also the people you get to meet. You know, in my case, I mean, I started real estate in New York and now I'm in Miami and that's my main market. But in New York, I got some amazing clients and people relationships I met and I got some beginner's luck. And in Miami, obviously, this is an interesting and hot market, but I got some unexpected, connections and I got to do some really good deals. And there's more to come, but it's the beauty of all this. It's like the relationship you create with people.
Absolutely. It's so I got really lucky there, and then I ended up joining, actually being an assistant for a top broker that I worked with for about 5 years as her assistant. So for me, that was really what got me into the business. I learned a lot about the industry. I learned a lot about relationships with different agents and what that looks like. And I would say that's what I'm the most fortunate for, is that I was able to be in that kind of a position where I got to watch this agent and see what they were doing all the time and
So,
emulate them.
so
So
you always worked with a team, or did you get some solo agent time?
I've never had solo agent time. I honestly just started my own team in February when I moved to Douglas Elliman. So
That's exciting.
yeah, I had been in the business for 13 years when I started my own team.
That's great. So now you have a team of how many people now?
I have two agents. I have a COO, and then I have an assistant and a transaction manager. So right now we're at five. We're at five real, five full-on team members right now.
Yeah, I think it's good. You don't need so many people. You need some quality people.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
do you
because
have
you can really leverage when you have the right people.
do you have some advice on for any agent that's looking to build a team? What before building a team? I mean, I know for example, I'm a solo agent, but I have strategic partnerships with a lot of agents in my market, but also across the U.S. and even the world. In a little longer term, I'm looking to build a team. But do you have any advice? Because when you're building a team, you have to have it's almost like you're getting married, right? You're going to be with these people all
Right,
the
right, right,
time.
right, right.
Is there any advice you have for that? Or it just happens organically?
Well, I think the most important thing that I've learned is to date as much as you can before you marry someone. So,
That's right.
at this point, all of the hires that I've made have been either, an assistant hire or a transaction manager hire is a hire you need to make with somebody who fits that particular job description. And then most of the time, it's interviewing different people and finding that right person. So having a pre-existing relationship to find that particular role, I think is difficult. It's possible in the sense that, there could be somebody you've been eyeing for years and, that works out that you're going to hire them. But as far as picking agents, I think that it's super important to have some experience with each agent before you end up asking them to join your team. And, also I'm super big into personality profiling, really into filling out disc profiles and trying to understand everybody's like inherent personality to make sure that they're the right fit, and any other red flags I need to be looking for. Because, I think all of us in this industry are really good at, meeting people and kind of going on gut instinct as to what they like and what they want and like how to interact with them. But then there's something to be said for good old fashioned, like the facts about what people like to see and how they like information presented to them. And there's a lot of room for success there. I'm no expert on it right now, and I'm still working on that, but it's something that I'm learning is super important.
Well, not to forget, we're in the real estate business, but we're in the people business first. So I think it's also very important, whether it's working with other agents or your clients, to understand how they think, who they are, and who will be the right fit for them. So, something I do a lot, I've built a tremendous network that's global. And when I send a client, for example, if I have a client who's selling a house in south of France or California,
Hmm.
I have the right agents to send them to, or, because I understand my
Right.
client, how he is. I think that is a very important thing. And it's the same thing when also I think building a team is really understanding the people that are in your team and how it will work out, and if you guys can work together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Listen,
So
it's something that I'm still figuring it all out because my team is only a few months old, but I think we've got something good here right now.
no, I see it, and I do actually love the website you put together, your blog, everything is on point. So I'm looking forward to follow everything. How is so? Obviously, the pandemic was quite difficult for New York, but New York always come back.
Mhm.
How is it right now? Is it really like we see all the headlines of like New York is back and all these big deals that are happening, or is it only in the super prime? How is the market right now in New York?
I would say the market in New York right now is extremely extreme in the sense that there are extreme situations in the B to C neighborhoods where, there's product that definitely there's a surplus of inventory. It's hard to know where those should really be trading before the market continues to turn in every neighborhood. And then there's neighborhoods that are the top neighborhoods where there's no inventory and it's bidding wars, and anytime something comes on the market,
Wow.
it goes immediately. And so I would say I keep cautioning my sellers to be able to sell as high as they can, and then maybe move their money into a different market if they want to reinvest. Because it's and not a different market necessarily that they have to leave the city, but a different neighborhood, and discussing that as what a different market looks like. So that's what I'm experiencing in New York. And then, I think buyers are now realizing anyway that, like, in a lot of cases, there's not going to be a ton of negotiability in the top neighborhoods, but they're still thinking sometimes that they're going to find that. And then in these other B2C neighborhoods, helping them find the opportunities, and understanding that I think those
What? Yeah.
opportunities are limited in timing as well.
What type of properties are you mainly focusing on? So you do a lot of new development, and you also do other types of buildings pre-war. Do you do all Manhattan and Brooklyn and all New York neighborhoods, or do you focus on a specific?
So I have done a ton. I have a ton of history of doing a lot on the Upper East Side, and then I also have done a ton in Tribeca. So that I'd say those are two neighborhoods where I have a tremendous focus, and just incredible market knowledge, because the fact that, like, trade by trade, building by building, I have that knowledge. And then we do have a great kind of arm in Brooklyn right now that we've begun. I have an agent
Brooklyn
who
is
specializes in
is
Brooklyn.
developing so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, Brooklyn's special, and there's a lack of inventory of really quality product, and it's really interesting how much demand there is there.
Is there, over the past 13 years you've been in the business, is there one or two deals that were really memorable, a great or bad experience? I mean, is there any story you can tell us about a deal you did in the past 13 years?
Um, well,
And what you learned from it, and what you learned from it.
so I would say, let's see. Well, a deal that I would say that's a deal that was a really, really interesting deal for me was a short sale that I did in 2011. And it was a really, really special sale because it was in a loft building in Tribeca, which has since become a star-studded building that's very, very special. And one of the things that was super important about that sale was I learned how important follow-up is, and to never trust that somebody's going to get back to you when they say they're going to get back to you. It was like it was just a process that just showed me how important it was to really be on top of a situation, because that's why they picked me to be the person who represented the buyer, because there were several buyers who were interested in the opportunity. So that was a special situation. My buyers got an incredible deal, and have experienced very, 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 very special upside on that property because of
Wow.
that opportunity. And then another sale was a multifamily that I sold in the Upper East Side years ago, that I feel like what I learned from that sale was, to really trust your instincts on where a market is going. And, I think I was really, really effective in making sure that the seller kind of waited and was patient until we were able to find the right buyer at the right price. A lot of these single family homes and multifamily situations, it's not just about finding somebody as quickly as possible at your price. To get the right price, often it can involve, it being on the market for a little while and finding the right buyer, and the market
Yeah.
adjusting to meet where you are. So, I think that I've seen a lot. because I've been doing this a while, and that has really helped me know how to handle a lot
And
of these
every
situations.
transaction is different, every relationship is different, and you learn so much all the time. So that's really, really great. Now you're on Million Dollar Listing New York. You're the first female
Yes.
on the New York show. How did you get there? How did you get to be on the show? And I'm sure you guys are having fun.
We're having a great time. It was just a really out of the blue kind of thing. I was, they reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested, and I auditioned, and that was it. So it was
How
really,
long?
really just
How
crazy
long? How
happened.
long did it take? It took what? A year or 2 years to shoot everything?
Well, this year I started filming at the beginning of January, and I just wrapped. So that would be 18 months.
Got it. And who's the most fun on the show? Frederick? Is it Ryan? Or they're all different? They're all different personalities, and they're all fun. But
Yeah, everybody's fun in their own way, I would say.
has
Everybody's
their own
got their
things
own.
going on.
Yeah, they do. They do. I have a different relationship with each cast member.
Um, now come to family. So you're married, you have 3 kids. How do you balance everything you're doing right now? I mean, we all have our own things, but how do
Yeah.
you balance everything to stay sane?
Well, I'm super into health and wellness. I really try to eat really clean. I am going to be launching a line of junk juice very, very soon, which is a Chinese herb line,
Wow.
because of the fact that that is what I live off of. I live off of supplements, Chinese herbs, and super clean eating. And I try to get as much sleep as possible. I'm very active. And I do find that being in really good physical condition does enhance the ability to do multiple things, not at the same time, because multitasking is still not that great. I think we all know that, but being able to handle a lot and being able to be clear and precise and calm and execute, it does involve being in a peak state, and that does involve, what you put in your body. Because remember, the strongest drug that you ingest every day is food. And so
It is.
you just need to eat clean, drink a lot of
It's
water. There's a lot to it. I think.
it's so important. I mean, we sometimes forget, but you can work out several hours and not eat well or not eat well enough, and you're not in the best shape. And the same thing for sleeping. If you don't get enough sleep, you don't feel at your best. But health and wellness is definitely part of our lifestyle, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
so we're all the reason we're in this business. We're super passionate about people and property and design and architecture, all this. If you were not doing real estate, what would you do?
I would be a motivational speaker. I would just do self-help all day long. That's what I would do. I would study, motivation. I would love to just that's something I hope I get to do
Is
in
there is there a
tandem with real
reason?
estate in the future.
Is there a reason why self development? Is there something that impacted you that you were like, I love this personal development?
I've kind of been loosely into personal development for kind of, I would say, even since my teenage years. My stepfather is actually a hypnotherapist, and he went into that business when he was in his 70s, actually, but it was always studying hypnotherapy and personal development and kind of the depth of your subconscious. And it sounds super woo woo, but I will tell you that, meditating and visualization and goal setting and personal development and personal improvement is something that, I mean, especially during the pandemic, I was just like, I spent a couple days being like, what the heck am I going to do? And then I was like, I'm going to spend this time doing all this personal development stuff that I haven't had time to do in years, and listen to all these books and just take the time to do this. And I feel like I came out really, really strong. And it's something that, I think a lot of us worried about wasting time on this, on personal development and
It's not
taking a
wasted
step
time.
back.
It's never.
And it's not.
Yeah. I think there's something for everyone, whether it's reading books, listening to Audible, podcasts, meditating. I mean, some people can't sit still and meditate, but you can go walking, and that's also meditation. So there's many ways, but I think that's really the best way to stay sane, whether we're in real estate or any business, because it's true. It's not easy, and health is very important, mental and physical. So
It's true. It's true.
yeah, it is. Well, Kirsten, thank you so much for taking some time out of your super busy schedule. I really appreciate it, and I loved our conversation.
This is
And
great. Well,
keep up the
hopefully,
great.
I want to come down there. I'm going to try to get
You
down.
should.
I'm going to try to get down there, and you need to come up. And we have a really great project on 23rd Street, which is a new development project, new construction, great investor product. It's called Gramercy North. So we'd love
I love that
to
area.
host
Yeah.
you and show you around. And
I'm gonna come back. I haven't been in New York actually since the pandemic, but I used to live there for a while and I loved it, and I miss it a bit. But I love being here in Miami. You definitely have to come down here. I know you're also I know you're very friends with Milty, who's a good friend of mine.
I was talking to him
So
this morning. We talked at like 7:30 this morning, I think.
he's one of my favorite people here. But when you come down here, we definitely have to go out for a dinner, something
Absolutely.
fun, a run, whatever you'd like. But let's definitely stay in touch. I'll let you know when I'm in New York. Let me know when you're in Miami. Everybody, thank you so much for joining the live, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.